I'm Michael. Welcome to Powder Strong. With all of my content, my intention is to give you tools that are immediately actionable in your life that you can use to boost your own performance and durability and longevity. I talk about coffee, talk about parenting, I talk about things that matter to me. Movement and training, nutrition, physique, goal setting, mindset. All of these things play in to this notion of being able to build the ultimate life that we want for ourselves. And so if you're interested in taking this ride with me and hanging out, I hope you'll hit subscribe and let the algorithm know that you're enjoying this kind of content. So I'll show you more of my stuff. Today's topic, we're going to dive into a kind of training that can help us improve our performance in the short term, make us more efficient, make us better, make us stronger, our durability or likelihood of being able to avoid injuries and reduce injuries in the short term, but also our longevity, our ability to move well and have an incredibly long health span so that we can enjoy the entirety of our lives. So performance boosting, durability boosting, longevity boosting, what could it be? I know you already saw the title, so you might know. Let's jump into it. Okay. Sip of coffee first. I'm drinking the Buzzer Beater blend by, actually I'm not sure it's a blend, Buzzer Beater by Proud Mary in a Proud Mary Cometeer kind of co-production Yeti mug that I got from them a while ago. So what is this training style? You've already seen the thumbnail, you've already read the title. That's why you're here, you know that. But we're going to talk about plyometrics. And plyometrics as a big category speaks to athletic movement, quick bounding movement, where we are pushing ourselves off the ground, aiming to be really quick, very aggressive, very efficient with our work. When we think about plyos and we break it down to the smallest piece, we're really just talking about little hops off the ground, right? It can be this simple. And so why would someone dive into the world of plyometrics training? I'll tell you that I grew up as a very non-athletic kid. I played baseball and soccer and basketball, and I wrestled, and I sucked at all of them. I was terrible. I do not have the hand-eye coordination for ball sports, just not my thing. However, I started into strength training, and then I started into CrossFit, and I left CrossFit, and I discovered actually what I really enjoy is more raw strength training, and then doing some conditioning in addition to that. And so I've been doing that. I've been running Mountain Strong for about 8 years now. And about 6 months ago, one of the coaches who's worked with me and is a close friend said, "Hey, I've been doing this plyometric stuff. Would you like an introduction to it?" And I said, "Absolutely. I'm always down to learn." And this was from Will, and I'm always interested to hear what Will's got to say. I always want to learn from him. He gave me and the coaching team at Mountain Strong introduction to someone's worldview or someone's kind of structure around plyometrics. And part of that structure was also an 8-week program that I've been following. Actually just wrapped it up last week, and I'm going to go through it again before I start adding more volume or more intensity to it. And I want to tell you what I found personally, and also just want to tell you a little bit about what we believe to be true about plyometrics generally. What I found is that 10 or 15 minutes of plyometrics work can gas me pretty well. There's an intensity to movement that when we do these well and we do them really with intention, they can be cardiovascularly challenging. It would be a terrible workout for fat loss or weight loss simply because the volume that you can handle in your tendons is far less than what your cardiovascular system can handle. But that doesn't mean they don't serve a purpose. What we know is that when we improve plyometrics and we start putting plyometrics into programs, we can make runners more efficient. They can be springier. They can reduce their ground contact time, which makes them potentially faster. We can improve their running economy. When we think about people who are trying to resist it, who are trying to avoid injury, and we put in this deliberate, rolled, and modulated loading of tendons, we can see improved tendon durability, which is going to have a downstream effect of making those tendons more durable. And then we can also go into longevity. And just a quick anecdote here. When I did yoga teacher training 15 years ago, one of the benefits of yoga that Tom continually spoke to was injury prevention, and specifically fall risk. He posited this idea that if someone had spent time practicing yoga and spent time practicing deliberately placing their body in space, that they would be able to more quickly catch themselves if they were to slip on the ice, right? Or an older person who kind of stumbles over a crack, that person's likelihood of injury goes down because they can catch themselves. Fascinating. And I've certainly used this language and this thought process since then. I've shared this idea with people. And then actually when I started practicing plyometrics, I discovered something that felt very, very similar, which was I am deliberately placing my feet on the ground, and I am deliberately landing either on the ball of my foot or with a full foot landing. I'm choosing whether my ankle is engaged or my ankle is relaxed, choosing whether my knee is stiff and engaged or if it's relaxed. And with all of that decision making and consciousness of movement, it stands to reason that there is an upside for fall prevention, that there is an upside to being able to very quickly put our foot down in order to catch ourselves in the place of a fall. So I like Plyos for all of these reasons. And so when you think about putting plyometric work into your training, I want to give you a few guidelines. First, start small. You don't have to go crazy with it. Small, deliberate movements work really well. And then you can build up. And I'm going to share with you this notion of 3 levels of plyometric work. So your first level of plyometric work, you're barely coming off of the ground. You're actually bending your knees and you're sinking into these landings. Within some systems, we would call this deep tier, but we're just going to call it level 1 plyometric work. This is simply learning how to jump and land and decelerate that landing without having a shock, without slamming your heels into the ground. So again, I'll put up some videos now of 2 different exercises that demonstrate this level 1 plyometric work, or this deep tier plyometric work. Level 2 was what we would call light tier. Here we have an engaged ankle, engaged knees, engaged hips, and we are trying to bounce off of the ball of the foot with really like a continually elevated heel. So we're not sinking down. This is less about the landing. It's much more about this tendon-driven rebound. I can show you a couple of videos of this, 2 different exercises here. And I think if everybody goes level 1 to level 2, lots of us might actually stop at level 2. Level 2 can absolutely be enough if what we're trying to do is be a slightly faster runner, or improve our tendon durability, or work on our fall durability or fall prevention. Level 1 and level 2 is probably going to be just fine. I think for a lot of people who are playing in the mountains, nailing level 1 and level 2 and building skills in both of those is going to go a really long way. And then if you're feeling spicy with it and you want to spice it up, then we'll just go to level 3, where we're doing exercises that look a lot like level 1, but we're doing them faster. We're doing them higher. We're doing them with more power and more aggression. And this is where we're going to really see, for those of us who run or jump or play aggressive body weight loaded sports, anywhere, honestly, from pickleball to ultimate frisbee to American football, rugby. It's like being competent in our medium, or in our level 3 or medium tier activities with Plyos, where we're going higher, is a really good plan. And again, I'll show you some demo videos of these things too. So how do you put this into your own training? I'll just give you some guidelines. Start with about 5 or 6 sets of different activities every session for maybe 2 sessions a week. You should be able to get through this in 10 or 20 minutes. Do a dynamic warm-up with a bunch of calf raises, get your ankles moving, get your overall heart rate up. Be sure that your knees and your ankles and your hips are ready for some loading, right? They should be feeling pretty warm at this point. And then you can get into it. And then getting into it, the bulk of that work, I would pick 4 or 5 different exercises, maybe 6, and do 1 set of each. You can mix how you do your level 1s, your level 2s, your level 3s. I would always start with a level 1 or a level 2 and then work into your level 3. But the moment you start to notice some negative outcomes for the ankles or the tendons, things just don't feel good. That's a really good time to back off. And one version of backing off could be just ending the workout. Another version of backing off could be dropping from a level 3 to a level 2, or from a level 2 to a level 1. But don't push beyond what your tissues tell you can handle. And the golden rule for Plyos is to keep in mind, Plyos are harder on your tissue than you think. I'm going to say it again for everybody in the back. Plyos are harder on your tissues than you think, than you perceive. Your tendons need to have time to recover. This is why twice a week is a really good volume for people. And if you're not sure how much you should do a little bit less. And then if you're adapting and you're recovering well and you're not getting any discomfort, by all means, you can nudge that up a little bit, but go easy with it. Incredibly easy to overdo Plyos and end up with an ankle that doesn't feel good, or Achilles that doesn't feel good. And I don't want any of those things for you. So ease into it. So guys, that's it. Big ideas here. Put some Plyos into your training. Once or twice a week is enough. 4, 5, 6 sets is enough. Pay attention to how you feel. Be sure you're recovering. 3 main levels of plyos. Standing emphasis, small jump emphasis, bigger jump emphasis. No matter what you're doing, keep it quick, keep it snappy, and put these in because they can help you with your performance and your durability and your longevity. If you've got questions, things you need, drop them down below. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.